Evening, folks. Welcome to our ArcheAge podcast, the Aurorian Age. This is Memo with you tonight. I have Bear, Deuce, and Marissya with me tonight. We're going to discuss crafting. What do you got for us on crafting, Deuce?
Well, we've been talking about for a long time that they were finally going to give me time to talk about crafting. So I told you I could take 5 hours in crafting, but I promised not to do it. Just to start off with crafting, it's just a wonderful thing within this game. It's so in depth, and it's nice to have a game where you don't have to grind at a raid mob to get really good gear, because the best gear comes from crafting in this game. Marissya, since you're relatively new to the game, what have you encountered in crafting so far?
It's been the result of trade packs and actually world gathering instead of just crafting in general. So I'll actually have a lot of questions for how you guys got started for efficient gameplay.
Yes, Memo and his bricks.
Yeah, I've got something here. I am the guild mason, and thanks to, industrious individuals that are hardcore miners like Deuce, and there are several others we have in guild that spend quite a bit of time mining. I'm closing in on 90,000, and I could talk about bricks for hours, or I could just say I make bricks, and that's about all I do with crafting. I make bricks. Sometimes I make hereafter stones, but then I make more bricks. Bear, you run the farms. What's going on with us there, man? That sounds like fascinating subject material.
Yeah, we plant and we pick, and we kind of do that over and over.
Bricks. How about the animal husbandry? Because I know I had never done any of the animals, and this week I went in and we were pulling a bunch of stuff out, and I come up and I'd never harvested any of the livestock. So I'm like, let me harvest the livestock just so I can see what it's like. Describe that for me. What is the process that goes behind harvesting the livestock?
Well, Marissya, you've harvested? You got to harvest some of our chickens and some of our ducks, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Wasn't that a pleasant sight?
It was strangely realistic. They really put a lot of thought into it because you feed these animals, animal husbandry. You take care of them, you groom them, water them, and then when they become of no more use to you, you can't shave them for their wool, you can't do anything like that anymore. Their only other use apparently is to chop their head off.
Now, have you done that yet?
Yes.
Why is that like a guilty grin? You're like, yes, I have.
It's cruel and sadistic, but so funny. It's so funny to do it because they're like,
it is. It is. Because you reach up and you're like, here, little animal, have some feed. And you kind of stretch back and give them a grin and whack their head off.
They make a funny sound.
We got a couple comments from chat here. We got a good one from Grievance, actually, that's quoting me, stating I've never done any of the animals. And yes, that is a fact. I've never done any of the animals. Not sure why we needed to bring that up, but I'm going to stand behind that statement as well. We also have another good one. We all sound very excited for crafting, which you don't hear that in all games. Sometimes the crafting it's a drag, or sometimes it's useless. At in game, it's just something to be busy at and to burn credits and gold on.
Well,
Not with ArcheAge.
I'll tell you this: the two things that we really use crafting for is to fuel our economy. I mean, the machine we call Grievance in ArcheAge is massive and expensive, and through Bear and the farms and people running trade packs and stuff, we fuel that machine by selling stuff that we make and everything, and stuff that's harvested we sell in the auction house, etc. Also, crafting is a wonderful way to level, and I'll tell you, Marissya's really new to crafting, so she hasn't got to experience the level by crafting, but the other three of us sitting here, I mean, we practically took a level 10 character to 50 just through crafting. Very little questing, very little doing anything but the actual crafting.
See, I ran the quests anyways to get the gear going along, but a large portion of my leveling was done through masonry, and it is extremely time consuming. I mean, you get, as you hit certain levels, you get breaks on the time that it takes to do it, but I mean, it is extremely time consuming, and pretty much if you're going to be, you know, a guild crafter in it, in anything, you're going to, you know, devote all your labor pretty much to that pursuit. It is really an immersive system. Thoughts on that?
No,
I
I
mean-
totally agree because I kind of, you know, did the same thing. I think I hit the farms when I was 18, and you know, they got me at a young age and impressionable, and got me down there. But you know, I mean, I did. I hit level 50 off doing alchemy. I mean, so, and alchemy is one of the ones that is very, very farm dependent. Because the amount of resources that you need to go through, you know, the variety of the different ones that you have to go through, and just the fact now that the healing potions, you know, you make a level 1 healing potion and you need that one to make the level 2 one, and so on and so forth. So yeah, it's gotten pretty crazy.
We have a question from Makurza. It's actually something that even I myself, being new to crafting, would also like to know, since you guys are really pro now by gathering and crafting. What did you use? Was there any websites, anything?
The main thing we used is Deuce, Bear, and the main crafters that, you know, immerse themselves in the various crafts. Best suggestion I can give for that person would be find a good guild, because they'll help you. This isn't a game you can run on your own. This is a game that you need a guild to succeed in, and a good guild. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. You know, whether you know, come with us, whether you go with somebody else, you know, get with a helpful guild, somebody that can help teach you the game and stuff. And I still stand by this. I've been crafting since day 2 of me entering the original alpha. So I have a lot of knowledge in this, but I still have a lot more to learn, even with as much as I craft. I mean, Bear can attest that too. He's been immersed in crafting for pretty much since he joined the game. And, you know, him too, we teach each other things every day. And there's not really that many great websites out there that give you detailed information like other games and stuff. We just pretty much learn by doing, and if we don't know something, we try it.
That's exactly what we did in with the on the original alpha server. We've done it here on the Omega server. We've been kind of picking a profession, and, you know, throwing all the resources and stuff that we could in it to help somebody level through it, so they could become knowledgeable. Simply because, like you were asking, if there was a website, there's no reliable websites out there that we've been able to find that's been able to give us reliable information. So we've had to kind of find it all and do it on our own, especially with the latest updates with 1.2. Kind of changed a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that changed the playing field quite a bit for us, because we as a guild have, you know, a plan that we're always working off of, and they keep switching things up on us, and we just adjust and move on, just like all of the other, you know, large organized guilds are doing. There are, I'm sure, lots of sources out there with varying, you know, information, but, you know, when I need something or someone needs something, we go to the guild first, and, you know, I'd say 100% of the time we get an answer or a direction to head in.
Yep.
There actually is an in-game wiki. If you hit Shift/, it brings up a wiki page. Only problem is that page hasn't been updated since 1.2 has come out.
Yeah, see, that's an issue.
So pretty much everything in that wiki is old and outdated.
Yeah.
And that's the in-game wiki. So you can imagine how that's being produced by Tryon and XL Games, and it's way behind. So imagine how these other sites are. And a lot of them they're doing the same thing we are and what they found, and they're trying to put out information, just like we do on this cast, is try to put out information to the best of our knowledge.
A lot of our information we've gained through trial and error. And some of it's not like we've never made any mistakes with our path, but we adjust and move on. And that's how most of the other guilds that are being successful have done as well, because there is no written format out there for us.
I'll give you a good example of that too. The Thunderstruck log. There are so many people out there to say you get it this way, 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 and they all conflict with each other. And nobody can give a definitive answer. If you do this, you have a 0.3% chance of getting a Thunderstruck log.
That's kind of a sore point with us. We've had a farm get several right next to our guild farms this week. So let's move on from the Thunderstruck conversation, because I know for Bear at least, he's got 3. I know for Bear at least that's a rather sore point, because he's had to look at them all day, every day. One farm over from our
right there
large
by
guild
our
farm there.
He's got one little bitty, he's got one large farm. He can put up his 20 little, trees. It's that big. And we've got 60, farms out there. And this little person has been
blessed.
Fortunate enough. Blessed enough. But I think every guildie that's walked past is peed on his tree. So just so you know, if it's you, there's pee on your Thunderstruck.
Yeah. One large lot has got 3 Thunderstrucks this week, right next to all the guild farms. So, I mean, random is random, but we've seen 3 in 1 week on a farm right next to ours.
Yeah. So, anyway.
And I do agree with Mead, chances by repetition, and the RNG is out there, but his RNG is like way slighted. He needs to go to Vegas.
Yeah, this guy needs to play the lottery, because he's gotten 3 in a week.
I think he's sacrificing goats at the trees when he plants them or something. I'm not sure what it is.
Disturbing.
Yeah. We'll keep an eye on that. So what else you got, Deuce? I mean, we got a bunch of crafting professions. I mean, what do you suggest for new players that are coming into the game? What's something that they should look to do?
Well, I always tell people when they ask, what should I do to help the guild? What should I do for crafting? And the best way to, tell you is use your labor wisely. Not only A, does it help you level faster, but B, you're using it and getting materials. If you don't need it, you can donate to your guild or something like that. Mining is a wonderful way to get your way into things initially, because you see little nodes along. It's like shiny, go pick it.
Yeah, pick everything up that you can.
And when you first start, you have 0 labor, and that was really disturbing on beta, because we're like doing our quests, and you see like a really big tree that's worth like 24 logs, and you go to chop, it's like insufficient labor. We're like, that was a lot of money sitting there, but we didn't have the labor to chop it down. Or you walk up to a mine, you pick it, and it procs Fortuna, and you don't have the 25 labor to pick the Fortuna mine.
Yeah, or you run across one of the rare wild trees and you don't have enough labor to chop it down. That's just horrible. I mean, that's like a punch in the gut if things like lumber are extremely scarce. We've had with the last beta ending, we had several more grievance members that came in. They all would ask me, well, what do I need to do to learn, how to get to this certain point? And I'm like, just play the game. Just sit there and play the first 15 levels, because the first 15 levels take you through everything you can do all throughout the game. They take you through the first crafting. They teach you how to do crafts. They take you through the first farming quest. They teach you how to farm and plant and harvest. So, I mean, the first 15 levels of the game are just an extended, extended tutorial. It's like, just take your time and roll through those. Once you go through there, you can look back at what you've done and say, hey, I can skip that next time. I don't need to do that. And, but that's just take it slow and kind of immerse yourself in the game. It is extremely overwhelming, the amount of information and stuff there is to do that's thrown at you right off the bat for anybody.
I think that's important is to take your time, because a lot of people, they rush through that, plant the potato or whatever, and they don't realize that they're actually trying to be taught, about growing. Yeah. Because then they're like, okay, I've got my small farm. Now what do I do? We're like, You plant it like the gods have shown you to do.
You go to the store it sent you to, where it sent you to get potatoes. You go to that store and you get seeds or you get saplings and you plant them. But I mean, that first 15 levels, a lot of times people are skipping through it just to get up in levels. And they don't really realize that these quests, every one of them that you're doing along the way, is teaching you what you need to know to play the game.
Yep.
Also, you know, you've heard us talk multiple times about how easy leveling is through crafting. But I'll tell you, if you're just starting the game, do not do what I do. Because you're going to miss so much of the game and you'd be like, this is all? Well, no. It's just that's what I focus on now because that's how I fast level. I mean, me personally, I'm working on my Arc Master title on 1. That's having all 10 trees up to level 50. And I have 5 level 50s and a 41.
Yeah, but Deuce, explain us how the quest line goes in White Arden.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
blank look.
I had to think for a second. No, it's been so long since I've done those quests. Because, you know. But, okay, White Arden has the Blue Salt Brotherhood. Okay, at least that's for our side. It's Blue Salt on the other side, but it's not in White Arden. And they actually give you quests that lead you to get, like, mining gear, gathering gear that boost your skill in this. And you have to actually
That's Windshade, Deuce.
Then what's White Arden?
A place you've never quested in.
Oh, that's what I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah.
Exactly. I want you to go, what? I've never quested there because you've done all your leveling through crafting, which is a viable way to level if you want to. Was the point there? We have another question. Someone asked, have we seen any hidden quests in the game? There's all kinds of mobs and side quest lines that drop maps and all kinds of other stuff for you. There's tons of hidden quests.
And yes, we have gotten some of the hidden quests done. We've got people that have been searching for them diligently and running around with the talking chicken in their inventory and all other kind of stuff. So yeah, that's something that we've been working on.
Yeah, we have people that are really into that. We got someone that missed what he said was his fast leveling way. What was your fast leveling way, Deuce?
I maximize use of labor.
Yeah, crafting. He goes straight into crafting and loses himself there. And when we have a big guild farm to work off of, that is, I mean, you can burn your labor every time you've got it. And you get a lot of leveling from picking plants, mining nodes, making stuff.
You know, I have two crafters that are maxed out 90k on Omega. So, you know, I do a lot of crafting. Don't get me wrong. I play a lot of hours to do it. And that's just me. You know, I like mining right now because that actually lets me go out and interact with other people instead of standing on a farm all day.
And by interact with other people, explain exactly how you interact with other people. Because I get to hear about this almost every morning.
Well, here's what happens. I go to a place called The Wall.
Feed.
I still see him and hear him.
I can hear him, but I can see him, but I can't hear him.
Oh.
You can't hear me?
I can hear you now, but you were talking.
Okay. Sorry, talking, nothing coming out. Sorry, guys. So, I go up to a place called The Wall, and that to me, because I have over 50,000 mining, I can pick these nodes called Anya, and it's a really good place for me to level. I'll just put it that way. Well, when I'm working on my Arc Master title, like I said earlier, an Arc Master is pretty much a little tag that says I have way too much time, because it means I leveled every single tree up to level 50. But to do this the fastest way possible, as soon as I got 3 trees up to 50, I went back to the Soul Guardian, changed in 3 brand new trees. So I show level 50, but I have 3 level 10 skills. And they're always some weird combination. Like right now I'm leveling Gypsy. Don't ask me what Gypsy is. It's like sorcery, vitalism, and witchcraft, I think is Gypsy. But the reason I wouldn't really know, because I don't put anything on my hotbar. I don't put any skills in. So, you know, up Northern Continent's PvP continent, I'm picking away. All of a sudden, something comes up, boom, I'm dead. Get on my mount, ride back up there, all of a sudden, boom, I'm dead. Ride back up there. And Steele says the other day, "Hey, maybe they think you're a bot. Why don't you say something next time?" So I said, "Okay." So I walk up there, see him still standing there. Oh, by the way, this is a purple. This is a guy turning on me from my own faction.
Our favorite.
Yeah, our favorite. And I said, "Hey, do you think I'm a bot or are you just a jerk?" And he goes, "Boom, you're dead." I said, "Okay, jerk, got it."
I don't think jerk was the word, but we'll leave it at that.
Yes, it was not the
we
word.
have some other questions about the hidden quests. Useful, or do they give just gold and XP? All the ones that I've done have either just been gold and XP. I don't know that I've gotten any special rewards for the hiddens. You guys?
No, I mean there's been a couple that you have to actually get 3 different things, go to a forge, put the thing in a forge, and then as soon as you get the item, and then you click on the item and it gives you another quest.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten gear or anything.
That's the way some of the secret quests are. They're actual chains that you have to follow, and one of the best items in the game actually comes from a secret quest line. It's called the Ring of Dreams, I believe it is. And every time you hit somebody, if you have it on, they get a physical and magical debuff that stacks. So there is good gear that comes out of some of those quests, but you're not going to find any walkthroughs on most of those out there because nobody wants you to have it.
There are good stats bonus for Archmeister. I don't think so, not in my opinion. I mean, 3% cast speed for all that work is not worth it. It's more of that's what my goal was that I set for myself, and that's what I'll do. But yeah, there's a lot better titles out there that give a lot better than 3% cast time.
Awesome. Marissya, what questions do you have for us on crafting? I know you're in an earlier stage of the game than us, so what kind of insight do you have on that?
Well, when you're new to something like that, the questions, like say for any of our guild mates, when you're in a big guild like this, do you have permissions? Are you readily able to go onto the farms and get what you need to then craft? Say if you're an alchemist or if you're a goldsmith, things like that. Architect.
So, Bear, if someone needs mats for their particular craft, can they go to the farm and get these things?
Well, basically, the way we run it in the guild, if somebody needs, something made, let's like they need a viscous glossy oil or something like that, then they'll contact the crafter in the guild and say, "Hey, I need this, and here are the stuff that it takes to make it." Basically, if you're in the game, you can hit O, which will bring up your folio, and you can look into the individual crafts and see what it takes to make anything in the game. And so then once you find what you want, and you can look on our website and find a crafter that'll be making it for you, then you can get in touch with them and give them the stuff that it takes to make it. In a lot of situations, we have extra supplies on the guild farm that the guild likes to help out with, extra leather. Sometimes we have extra oils, but we try to help out where we can.
Yeah, and especially one of the things with the way we are running things, and I would guess other large guilds are, after a certain level with gear, you have to have a crafter that has a certain skill level to even make the gear that you need, and the potions and the oils and stuff. So unless, that's not anything that one person can do everything, because you'd have to level all these skills up to this certain level, which just isn't feasible. So that is something that we offer as well.
Yeah, and then one of the things that the guild's doing is like an armor exchange program. If you've got a set of armor, you can turn that set of armor in for another set. That's stuff like that is stuff that we're working on doing for live. It's not going to start off right away, but we've got a lot of big plans to help all our guildies out.
Of course, we're readily awaiting the evening of Archeum crystals. when 1.2 came in, they really hurt our crafting bad. First, it was too easy in, the original alpha to get crystals. And then it went from too easy to, oh my gosh, a crystal is going for, what did you say it's going for today? 56 gold?
Crystal?
A crystal.
No,
Sunlight crystal.
No, I haven't seen them that high today, but I didn't check today, so must have been somebody else.
Well, considering we used to get them for like 3 gold, and now they're through the roof. It's almost impossible, unless you're a huge money maker, to even think about getting crafted gear right now.
Yeah, it needs to be balanced for sure, and they have stated they're looking at that. And maybe we'll see something before the next closed beta event. They've announced that's coming on the 14th, which is Thursday of next week. So we'll be going to another beta phase, which we're rolling pretty hard there on the East Continent for beta.
Yep.
I will tell you this, because this is semi-crafting related. Don't let your coin purses sit in the bank. I'll tell you, because nice crafting
crystals
stuff comes
in
out of
those.
There's crystals, there's fire lunarite, the money, while it seems very little, it's not the money you're after anymore off the, the money pouches. It's the goodies that come out of it, because that's the goodies that used to drop off of mobs, and they're now come out of the pouches.
Sorry about that, guys. My son needed daddy's help there for a second.
No problem, Bear. So yeah, the crystals have been a huge choke point for us, but we've just, adjusted and moved around that until it, hopefully gets fixed, or, there's some kind of alternative to that, which, we're expectantly waiting that, and maybe we will see something else drop before the next closed beta event.
Yeah, normally they drop it on the alpha folks, like a day or two before the start of the next event. So hopefully we'll see that Monday, Tuesday, some time frame. And Melissa Art, I completely agree with you. I am so ready for this game to go live. There's been rumor that it's dropping on the 17th of next month, which means the 4-day head start would start on a Saturday, which I'm okay with.
Yeah, please start on a weekend, because if it comes up on a Tuesday or Thursday, it's gonna be bad for me.
Yeah,
and a lot of people.
I hope it does. I hope it does drop on the 17th. That's a good time frame. That gives them a chance to do, another closed beta, maybe 2 more closed beta, and then they know that we're going to be getting one open beta event. So
that will be interesting. An open beta event, that will definitely be interesting to see what kind of influx of people that brings.
Yeah,
because I know the beta events brought in quite a number of people.
Oh yeah. Well, every time we have a beta event, we get 4 or 5 people that the alpha packages every weekend.
Yeah,
and that's just in our guild.
Yeah, they can't. It's like they play for 5 days and they want more, and that it's like, ugh. And we're all say, well, we'll see you on Omega, and we roll back to our Omega server,
and then they start showing up in 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you this. Go ahead, Bear.
I was just going to, DC Cole said he thinks it's highly unlikely. You never can tell with these guys, man.
Yeah,
I
agreed.
don't think it's going to be the end of the year. I think it's going to be much sooner.
Yeah, it's. I think it's always at some point a money issue. So, it's going to release when they're at that point. Do we have any other questions out there from the cast audience? You guys got anything else for me this evening? What have we not hit on?
Well, I have another question for us newbies out there. So, for anyone who's maybe not looking to be a crafter, but they want to help support their guild, what are 2 things that they can do when they're just out in the world that would be tremendously helpful?
The biggest 2 things is going to be mining, and then watching for those rare resources that spawn out in the wild. There's a couple of plants that you can't buy the seeds for. There's a couple of trees you can't buy the seeds for. Those can only be found out in the wild. So that's it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, to answer your question, no, because when I'm at the wall, I never have a skill. Now, I did say something today in chat, and I'm not angry. I kind of laugh at it. It's almost a game to me when they come up and they like, oh, I'm gonna make him mad and kill him. Psst, who cares? But actually, I said something, and 3 of our 50s said, "You at the wall, Deuce?" I'm like, "Yeah." All of a sudden, poof! 3 of our 50s were there to take care of it.
We had another question. It said, if you squeeze Memo's belly, does he giggle? So, or maybe, I don't know.
See
Marissya,
that one, Bear. I think
could you reach up above you and give Memo a little squeeze there and see if he...
I think that's a bear question.
No. No, that's been talked about quite a bit. They said if we don't find out here on the chat that I've got to do it at the get-together. So
okay, Talon's got a question. Random question for me. How do you think farm housing space will be on release?
That's mad land rush. Like the gates open, people pour in, they run for the best spots. It's going to be insane. It was insane in beta. It was insane when Omega opened. When Alpha opened, there were people that had been there for multiple months before us, so we really didn't know about how the land went. But I can tell you, as the people that were setting up the farms, it's a mad rush. People hit the ground running. They know where they're going. The big guilds already have areas that they have in mind. So it's insanity.
There's been a lot of talk about this on the forums here lately too, about them taking the tax certificates off of the marketplace at launch, so that it would prevent people from placing the houses down sooner. And my biggest response to that is the only way that would be effective is if they also get rid of the labor potions, because you can always just buy a labor potion to craft up your certificates anyway. So, but we have heard that they may move the labor potion off of the marketplace and just put it into the loyalty store. So we're getting just a lot of speculation that we're not really sure, on how that's going to play out.
The biggest, Skullhead asked about the wild trees and the farm and stuff. And now, are you talking about people planting illegal tree farms, or just more trees out in the open?
They're not illegal.
More trees out in the wild. I think people don't want to waste their labor on pulling up trying to get a sapling. I think less people are uprooting, just from wild trees, because it's really not worth it. About 90% of the time, you get nothing. So I have noticed a lot more trees, and when I go back to Omega, there's areas I go there that there's trees that I'd never even saw young trees there before.
Yeah.
So I think
there are more resources.
Yeah, I don't think people are spending labor uprooting anymore on just wild stuff, because it's really not worth the waste in labor, with labor being so precious as it was on beta.
Now, I will tell you this. I have heard of a lot of people planting out in the wild, because if you're on a weekend pass for beta, you can't own land because you're not a patron. So those are the people, so they can do their so they can do like their donkey quests and stuff, that they'll go plant out in the wild, and which I call it illegal farms. It's not illegal, but you get footprints and blah, 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 blah.
It's only illegal to pick it, not to plant it.
That's true.
Someone in guild repeats that all the time.
I don't know who that could be.
I don't either. We had a question about, let's see, will the game have mega servers?
I don't understand the mega server concept. The only time I ever knew that was the turn-based games.
A mega server is like EVE, where there's one huge server. No, this game will have multiple servers that are going to be, they'll have an actual character cap on it. You're right, you can't steal until you're level 15. There was another question up that I saw about the trade packs being linked with crafting. They are, to an extent. They are linked especially to alchemy. and that is they make some of the potions that are needed to make the armor and weapons and the farmers' workstations and a bunch of stuff like that. So when I first heard about it, I was pretty disappointed. I thought it was going to be a big, game changer. It actually turned out to be not nearly as bad as we thought it was going to be. So,
is there a benefit from uprooting trees from a hidden farm? I've seen a lot of people doing that. Really, that's from Cyclone too. Is that a real question? Uprooting is labor costly. Feral farming is what Mead calls it. Did you see that link, folks, about the deer hunter's ear ring that gives you 500 labor per hour? I would highly doubt that's a real item.
right.
I would think that's something somebody made.
That's somebody trolling.
Yeah, I would bet, because that would just be huge. And when you've been in game, you have no idea that would be so huge to bank 500 an hour.
The biggest advantage to uprooting trees from hidden farms is you're going to get crime points. You're going to be known as a jerk, and you're going to spend a lot of time in jail and eventually become a pirate and get kicked out of your guild.
Do you still get XP for pulling stuff up? I mean, uprooting? If it's not done?
I don't know. I don't do it.
No, not that I've seen.
I don't think you used to be able to plant stuff and pull it up and get XP, but they took that out. So basically,
I wasn't able to.
You get nothing for it. So that's not even a thing anymore. Sometimes if you do a tree, you have a chance on getting a sapling and getting that sapling for the tree. But, the majority of the time it's not even worth it. And I think that's a reason we see more trees in the game, because people don't even want to waste the time or the labor to pull up something that's going to give them nothing. Yeah, there is no XP from uprooting anymore. So once they took that out of the game, that had to, affect people doing it as well.
I'll tell you, if you need to burn your labor instead of just making people mad, come talk to me in game. I'll give you something to do.
Oh, we've always got stuff to do.
Yeah.
If nothing else, mine. Mine.
I mean, on us, we can always use you on the farm. If you're bored, we got a bunch of fields for you to plant or pick. Almost always.
Especially on beta, nothing like planting. What would we plant that one time? 2,000 cotton all at one time by hand?
I thought it was the rice that was a problem.
No, that was on alpha. I'm talking on beta.
On beta, we did. I think we've planted upwards to a little over 3,000 cotton, singly planted cotton. That takes a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Aiden143. Are there any guides on this game? It's hit and miss with guides for us. Like I told someone earlier, the best thing you can do is get in with a good guild group of people that, have been playing and can answer your questions and offer guidance. Because, I've been with Grievance for 4-ish plus years now, and I've never really had to go to outside guides. I can always hop into TeamSpeak and go, this is what I'm trying to do, what I need to do, and have 10 different people explain to me exactly what I need to do.
Makurza asked about the guild farm and house areas. We call our area the guild farm because, unlike many other guilds, we actually pull all of our farms and plop them in one area so it can be managed by a lot fewer people, because we know our plot of land and we don't have to go hunting across, the whole continent. So it's not technically the guild farm is how it's called in game. We just call it that because that's where all of our guild farms are.
Yeah, it's a collection of multiple members, some of us who have made multiple alts to put down farms so we can have a large group of single farms all together set to guild. And, one person can go from the front to the back and harvest till they're out of labor. We just, that's what we call it.
Yeah. X-Talent had a question here. A level 30 can go toe-to-toe with a level 50 in some cases. What do you guys think about the relatively small stat difference between the levels? Deuce, you want to handle that? You've done a little bit more PvP than the rest of us.
Well, we'll use Stunner because I like picking on him. He had 15 levels on me, and I dueled him, and he barely scratched me, and I just took him to town. A lot of it is, how good is your spec against the spec you're fighting, and how well do you play your spec. On top of that, there's such a huge disparity in gear that, depending on how well geared the 30 is compared to the 50 not even being in quest gear yet at 50, just because they're 50, if they're still running around, and I'll give you a good example. I was 50 running around in level 14 gear. I would have got smoked to town by a 20 because, it's feeding off your gear.
Yeah.
So I actually like the fact that you have a chance against a 50 at lower levels. If you're good and you're that good, then you have a chance. I'm not saying you should be able to beat him all the time.
If you're level 10 and you run into Deuce when he's working on the wall, you got a complete shot at him. So
yeah, I'll tell you,
hey,
you'll kill me because I don't even have auto attack on my bar at that point.
With that being said, they changed how some of the skills work. The skills don't level up as more, but there's a multiplier based off of your either, magical attack or your physical attack, and that really comes from your gear now. So if you've got a low level or a weakly geared level 50 and a decently geared level 30, I can see that being a contest. But if you've got a geared out level 50, that 30 doesn't stand a chance because I'm a decently beginningly geared out level 50 and I've got up 50s that can, two-shot me. So I know a 30 don't stand a chance.
Aiden's asking, do we do west or east? For beta, we are running on the east continent. For alpha, omega, and live, we will be launching on the west continent.
No, well, let me touch on what it was just said. And he said, I wouldn't say that's completely true. A lot of abilities damage scales with level. Yes, they do. But in 1.0, they did so at a greater level. A lot more of your skills would level up to a much higher level. Now they don't. Some of them don't level at all. Some of them don't have as many levels. So I didn't mean that none of them level up anymore, but it's just not to the greater degree that we saw in 1.0.
And it's not called Fireball. I'm sorry, I'm not a mage, so I'm butchering the name of the spell. But Fireball is one of those. It used to level up to like level 16 before at level 50. Now it's level 1 the whole time through. It is totally gear dependent. Yeah. That's just one example of the change that happened in 1.2. So gear has made a bigger difference in damage in 1.2. And with the fact they hurt gear so bad by the crystals and stuff, yeah, it's actually closed the gap on the levels. Now, like I said, if you're good, then you should be able to hold your own against just about anybody. But if they're equally as good running a spec they're good at, and it's a counter to your spec, you don't stand a chance no matter what gear you're wearing.
Yeah, I saw some videos of some of the Korean players and in the arena, and basically it was who got their combo to land. It was whoever got their combo to land won the fight, and it would be over within seconds of the combo landing. Most of their time was actually spent trying to keep their, the other person's combos from actually connecting, and as soon as they did, it was over. So, sorry, I gave my necklace back.
Yeah, Melissa, Knott's pretty much answered it in a quick synopsis. I'll tell you, one of the things I love about this game, though, is that you can wear anything, do any gear you want, etc., and it doesn't matter. If you want to be a vanity character, any character can use any weapon, use any kind of armor. Now, there are disadvantages to it, but you can still do it, and in a group, be effective. Now, one-on-one, you're probably going to get severely hammered if you're in plate as a caster. But there are some plate gears, especially 44 above, that are heavy intelligence, for example.
Yeah.
Yep. You're going to see a bunch of weird things out there. You're going to see, magic users wearing plate. You're going to see, melee wearing cloth just because some people are, cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs and they want to do what says they, other people tell them they can't do. So,
as Deuce mentioned, there are some caster builds that benefit from plate, shield, and scepter combo. I ran one of those to begin with.
Yeah.
It used the Intel plate. They did switch that a little bit with 1.2 to where they made Spirit, more effective than Intel, correct? And that kind of made me go ahead and go to cloth, because the bonuses for a caster with a full cloth set, because you get set bonuses for wearing a full set of, leather, cloth, plate.
Yeah,
so they're
and you
kind of
can
hard to resist.
You can make things look like the other ones.
Yeah,
Somebody
you
said
can.
that their skills leveled on their own. Do you guys understand how they are individually leveled? I think it's based off the experience in that particular tree determines the level of the skills in that tree. So if you've swapped them around a little bit, that's where it can change.
Yeah, say you're level 40 and you decide to change one of your skills out, that skill will start at level 10 and will have to level with experience. So see, even if you're capped out at level 50, like what Deuce is doing, and you're capped out at level 50, you go back and pick 3 new skills. Those skills are all at level 10, and you continue getting XP. You're level 50, you don't advance past level 50, but you continue leveling each of those skills as you get XP.
Now,
Right.
I would not recommend people doing what I do to level their trees unless you are only crafting, because you still are level 50 and you can't go to a low level zone and get XP. You get no XP, no loot from mobs if they're grayed out now.
Yeah,
So
I've
being level
experienced
50,
that. I've experienced that quite a bit with trying to finish some of the quest lines at max level, going back and picking things up. You get nothing for them, but it is what it is.
Now, I wonder if Marissya has any more questions for us.
You guys are being awfully thorough. So I think we've got the basics of crafting that we were talking about. Having a great, resourceful guild to be able to fall back upon is going to be tantamount to how your experience in the game is going to end up. Trying to solo through this seems nigh impossible.
It is impossible. It would be punishing. And to get max level and get anywhere, you need a good guild. We got from Skullhead, we have I thought skill ranks are based on your character level instead of the skill tree. If you go and hit and get all your original 3 skills at level 10 and go all the way to 50, those are 50. But if at any time during your leveling process from 10 on, you switch one of your skill trees out, that skill tree starts at level 10, and you have to level it from there. So you can actually have, a level 50 tree, a level 10 tree, and a level 30 tree, all at the same time.
No PvE content is not extremely grindy. This is one of the least grindy games I've played in years.
There's so many diversions and so many things. If you get bored of doing this certain quest line, you can veer off this way for a while and then wander back. I mean, it really is good. If you get tired of questing, you can go do other things. You can go craft. You can go PvP. You can
go fishing.
yes, this game isn't
World events.
typical. This game isn't typical Asian grind. Aeon. Loved that game till I hit 41, and then I couldn't get through the grind. It wasn't my playstyle. This game is nothing like that. Yeah, exactly what Mead said. There are so many ways to get experience in this, and PvP equals win.
We are predominantly on Omega.
Yeah, we started out on Alpha, and we switched to Omega when it opened up to get a fresh start.
Yeah.
We actually went to Omega to try out a new economy and everything, and then we got rudely interrupted with a combined economy. With
combined auction house. That kind of set our plans back a little bit, but we adjusted and moved on.
Yep.
Just like every other guild.
Yeah. And whoever said I can't wait till this game is live, yeah, we've started 3 times now for a bunch of us. And I can't wait to start the 4th and final time. I just want everything to be permanent.
Yeah, the PvP comment from Hefner Fishes is very similar to Guild Wars 2 PvP from what I've seen. Not so much for me, man. I was not a fan of Guild Wars 2 PvP. This is a lot There's none of that double tap, roll, sidestep stuff that killed it for me in Guild Wars. What do you guys think about the PvP being like Guild Wars 2?
I never played Guild Wars 2.
You're no help, Bear. Thanks,
Okay.
man. Deuce?
Okay. I gotta hold on. I gotta address this Skullhead's comment. It says, "What do you think about large guilds, especially Orenthul, dominating their chosen server on release?" Yes, I totally changed the subject on purpose. And I'll tell you, the reason why Orenthul dominated Alpha
They had a head
was
start.
because they were there in Friends and Family, which was a good 3 to 4 months before any of us got in there. They had all their gear, all their Guild stars, their castle was built and everything before they had any competition. They were also in an alliance with a Western faction, the biggest Western faction. So they had no competition whatsoever.
Nah. Things will be different for whatever server we hit, and if they're there, we'll be sure to make their acquaintance rather quickly, because we love them on Alpha. Did we not love them on Alpha?
You know, I never ran into Orenthul.
You
I
must
didn't
not
have
have been up on the farm.
Hold on. You never ran into Orenthul?
no. Well, is that the one group that we fought up there on the farm? They're
It
like,
was constantly running through the
Yes.
farm.
Now,
oh
I
well,
will
now
tell you
I
this.
probably got smoked by them, but on the Alpha server, I never got above level 40.
I will tell you this, and normally we don't talk about other guilds in our cast and stuff because normally it's not a nice thing when we talk about a guild. But I actually have no issue with the way Orenthul plays because they don't kill their own faction. Their own faction doesn't hate them. Just everybody on our faction hates
Oh,
them.
their own faction hated them greatly. Greatly, they hated them.
They didn't kill their own faction?
No.
I don't know about that, dude. If you went over to the east side, everybody was, OT can go jump off the shortest bridge, and I mean, they hated them bad.
Let's not get too focused on another guild. If we see them in live, we'll acknowledge them as the special little snowflakes they like to be. What else do we got, folks? Do we have any more questions?
No, I don't
No
have
one's-
any.
Marissya, what do you got for us?
Well, I will say because somebody made a comment earlier about how they felt kind of overwhelmed when they're playing by themselves. When you have a big guild like this, you get to experience the game on a completely different level. For example, when we went on that trade pack run, and I was on a cannon, and we pull into port, and somebody plays a joke, and I blew them up. I would not have been able to do that the way that it happened with how many people did we have with us? 70? 2 ships.
Yes, something like that.
That was an incredible experience, and I would not have experienced that were I trying to just dither around on my own little boat.
Also about leveling by yourself and not having anybody to help you. I'll tell you from personal experience within this guild, and I'll toot our horns a little bit. If anybody asks for help, it's not just the same level that comes to help. We have 50s coming to help, level 15s, level 30s, level 40s. Honestly, we want to help each other because we want the lower levels to get to our level so that we can go out in a massive group and dominate PvP.
And
or run our packs and stuff.
About the leveling process, it's not to say you can't go through this game and completely run through the storyline, the quests, and group up for the dungeons, do all that without a guild and do it by yourself. But to attain the larger things and experience the bigger part of the game, this is a group-centered game. You need a community to succeed. I mean, there's always going to be those people that can spend 20, 22 hours a day in a game and they'll have everything. But, if you're a casual player like the majority of us, you need a group to succeed. And, that's something that I haven't seen in a game for many years. And, me and Steele have discussed that on and on and on, that, it's nice to have a game where, you to really get all the stuff you need a group. You need a community.
White Tragedy, no. The mobs, if they're grayed out, do give the quest items if you have the quest. That's what I was talking about is you're killing mobs without getting any XP whatsoever. Plus, you're not getting the bonus coin purses and stuff, which means you're getting no money also, except for the actual quest turn-in.
Yeah, they don't drop anything when they're grayed out, correct? Is the way I understood it.
Just the quest item. You'll still get
the quest item.
Well, this has been a pretty good evening tonight, guys. We've had some good questions, and
we have. Yeah, exactly. It's quality, not quantity, as far as guilds are concerned. And you know, I know this is a general ArcheAge cast, but you know, I always go back to Grievance, and you know, Grievance isn't for everybody, and that's fine. But we have a great group of people here, and you know, I never fail to find an interesting game experience every time I get in game every day. We had someone ask about RP. Not a big focus of Grievance, not something that I've really spent much time with. I could see where this game could do that because it is extremely immersive.
yeah, there's people out there that love to RP, you know, and some of the folks in Grievance like to do it on occasion, you know, especially if you catch them in the right mood. Some folks won't, and that's just how Grievance has always been.
I did hear somebody in TeamSpeak ask if we could have Talks Like a Pirate Day.
Yeah.
There's a pirate faction.
That should be a national holiday.
In September. It's not very far.
We have someone asking about, Arthrodon has showed up for us. We have someone asking about what do we consider some good class combos. That is a question that, you know, that could be a whole show. Good class combos. I'm a caster. I know Bear. What are you playing?
I was playing a trickster for a while, you know, archery, shadow, and witchcraft, and I just switched out witchcraft for oromancy because I've been having to PvP more than I want to. So,
yeah, I'll be honest with you. There are a lot of good classes, and depending on what you want to do, you know, there's within that same genre, you know, of caster, of melee, or of ranged DPS, you know, you can go in many different directions. It's get something that fits your game style, you know, something you want to play. And I still stand by, you can take a spec that's not quote unquote min-maxed, and if you play it well and it fits your play style well, it'll be a lot better for you than if you take that min-max spec and don't use it to its full potential because you don't understand it, you know, it doesn't fit your playstyle, etc. So play what you want to play. Have fun.
Is it a Herfnalicious? Was talking about doing a bounty hunter guild and, you know, taking bounties on people. That's completely legal. If you want to do that in this game, bud, have fun.
Yeah, Marissa, what are you playing?
I'm trying to remember. I've switched it so many times just to, as you know, how many different class combos there are and how they complement or they really don't do well together. And of a bard, forgot. I switched it again. I forgot what I did. There was a bard, the archer, and I think I also might have had witchcraft in there. But it created a really interesting combo, which has been working so far. So I'm interested to see how that turns out at a higher level.
Okay.
All right. Any last thoughts from Bear, Deuce, Marissa? Last thoughts? I'm gonna wrap this up.
Crafting's fun. Crafting's great. Find a crafter and make him a cake.
Deuce.
You know, within crafting, I'll tell you, you know, either you love it or you hate it. I love it. I do a ton of it. You know, there's people in the guild who's like, Deuce, take my farm. I don't ever want to see it again. You just tell me what you need. And they walk away from crafting. And that's fine, especially, you know, the way our guild works and stuff like that. You don't have to do anything in crafting in this game, and you can still reap the benefits if you have a good guild. So that's my final thought.
Marissya, last thoughts?
I'd say get yourself
I
set
keep
up
putting her on the spot.
right as I'm doing something else. Getting yourself in with a group of people that you really enjoy to spend that kind of time with, I think, is kind of my last thought on that.
Well, I'd like to thank. We had a great audience this evening. We had a lot of people tuning in to watch us live, which is always nice. A lot of good questions. Come check us out. www.grievanceguild.org. I think that's right, isn't it? Yeah, grievancegaming.org.
Grievancegaming.org.
I can't read. Bear, thanks. Deuce, Marissya, thanks for being with us tonight, and we will see you next week, folks. Maybe not me, but someone will be here. Good night, folks.
Have a good one.
Have a good one.
Good night.